time, I thought, hey, this thing's like a Western, but nobody would have nerve enough to do it. Years later, they sent me this script from Italy, and I recognized Yojimbo. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. I've never been to Italy. I've never been to Spain. So I thought, yeah, why not? Why not give this a little bit of a try, see what cooks?
Unlike most TV actors, Eastwood wanted to work, not relax, during his spring hiatus from Rawhide. He accepted Leone's modest offer of $15,000 and arrived in Spain to a set on the verge of chaos.
That was a rough, simple shoot. Went out behind the rocks when you had to pee, and it was very, very crude, and they were always running out of money.
Well, Sergio didn't speak any English. I spoke no Italian at the time. I knew arrivederci and he knew goodbye, so that's where we started. But Sergio, he had sort of a naivete about him. He was like a little kid with a bunch of toys, and that's kind of the way he made the movies, and it was great fun.
Leone gave Eastwood plenty of space in creating his character, an enigmatic gunslinger known simply as Joe.
Clint took out much of the dialogue that his character had because he felt that his presence was more important. They would say more than all the dialogue that had been written.
Danger fits him like a tight black glove. He is perhaps the most dangerous man who ever lived.
You know that there's something going on in there. He's not going to tell you what it is, but you just know it, and he lets the audience figure it out.
Get 3 coffins ready.
I dare you to count the words that he used. Very, very few. But it was so effective in it. He had a little Miles Davis thing going there. He knew how to let the air speak louder than the words.
I don't think it's nice, you laughing. You see, my mule don't like people laughing. He gets the crazy idea you're laughing at him. Now, if you apologize like I know you're going to, I might convince him that you really didn't mean it. My mistake. 4 coffins.
The non-smoking star did make one concession to his director.
He had to smoke these little cigars, and he hated it. He hated it. He'd say to Leone, I'll do 2 more takes, and then I'm going to throw up. So you better get it quick.
It did put you in the mood for the character if you're playing a guy who's somewhat of a cynic and who's pretty ornery most of the time.
Months later in America, Clint read in a magazine about the surprise success in Italy of a Western called A Fistful of Dollars. It was the first time Eastwood had heard the movie's new title, or about its thunderous impact across Europe.
Nobody thought spaghetti westerns were going to go anywhere much. He got in there and made his career.
A Fistful of Dollars is the first motion picture of its kind. It won't be the last.
In 1966, the Cowboys of Rawhide rode their final trail. The show was canceled after 7 seasons and 217 episodes. But for 35-year-old Clint Eastwood, employment wasn't a problem. He had just returned from Italy, where he filmed his second Western with Sergio Leone.
You remember him, don't you? He's Clint Eastwood. It's the story of 2 bounty killers, men who inspired fear in the worst criminals.
In the drama, For a Few Dollars More, Clint again dominated the screen as a man of few words, but deadly action.
Didn't hear what the bet was.
Your life.
And all that for a few dollars more.
The movie's title was prophetic. It was Eastwood who earned quite a few dollars more when his demand for a piece of the profits triggered a hefty $50,000 payday.
The first one, he got a low salary. The second one, there was a bump up. And the third one, they thought he was stealing the Italian treasury. But he was worth it because in Italy, he was triumphant.
America had yet to see either of Clint's Italian westerns, but on the set of his third, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, co-star Eli Wallach realized Clint was a Hollywood movie star in the making.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the showdown.
He was like a new version of Gary Cooper, John Wayne, all the silent, big silent movie stars. Clint didn't talk very much, but he took good care of me.
The Civil War.
Clint would say what stunts and dangerous things to avoid, telling me stay away from them. Let somebody else do it.
The reason. The goal.
He said, Eli, this is my last Italian Western. I'm going back now to California. I'm going to set up my own company, and I'm going to act and direct in my own movies.
The 36-year-old's ambitions took a giant leap forward in 1967, when A Fistful of Dollars and its two sequels finally reached America. United Artists rechristened his character The Man with No Name, and although many critics blasted the films as violent pulp, audiences loved them. Eastwood's timing was perfect. The Vietnam War was raging. America's youth wanted anti-heroes. Clint's terse man of action became an emblem of social rebellion and brute American force.
Eastwood wiped clean the slate of the American Western and upped the ante in terms of the morality, let's say, of a Western. What's good and what's bad, who's good and who's bad.
Clint capitalized on his success. Hang 'em High was produced in Hollywood by his own newly formed company, Malpaso. He named it after a creek in his home base of Carmel, where the shrewd businessman was buying up land.
What's this all about?
Hang 'em.
Clint's first starring movie in America was a box office hit.
What about the 9 just men who hung me?
Justice is my province, Marshal. Mine and mine alone.
The film also explored what became favorite Eastwood themes: the rights of the individual and the consequences of violence.
When you hang a man, you better look at him.
No.
But as Eastwood grew professionally, he faced pressing responsibilities at home. In 1968, Clint and his wife Maggie had their first child, a son, Kyle. A daughter, Allison, joined the family 5 years later. Clint tried to be an active father, but he was often away pursuing film work.
The trouble with being a parent when you're young is that you're trying to get a career going. You're trying to get, acting is not a kind of a job where you say, okay, I'm a pharmacist, I go to work every day.
When he was away working a lot, we'd spend some time together like that, and in between films he was around, but he'd be gone for a few months at a time. It was just something you kind of got used to,
When Kyle was born, I was just starting to work a lot. Things were happening, and you always think, well, this job's going to be my last, so I might as well stick with it.
That same year, 38-year-old Clint met a director who became a mentor. Don Siegel excelled at action-driven dramas about heroes at war with society and themselves. On Coogan's Bluff, the tale of a Western crime fighter transplanted to Manhattan, Clint found a creative soulmate.
Clint Eastwood, Arizona sheriff. Unpredictable, unconventional. Applies the techniques of the modern Western lawman to ride herd on the lawless in the joints and nightclubs of a big city.
Don, he had a sense of humor, but he also had a very crisp side to him. So it was fun.
Clint doesn't want a lot of chat, a lot of pretentious examination of what the character's motive might be. He likes that kind of efficiency.
By 1968, the hard-working actor was ready to break away from Westerns and show different sides of his talent.